Mountainhead is a 2025 American satirical comedy drama television film written and directed by Jesse Armstrong in his directorial debut and stars Steve Carell, Jason Schwartzman, Cory Michael Smith, and Ramy Youssef. The film follows four billionaire friends on a secluded weekend retreat as the world goes through major turmoil. The film took under 6 months to produce, with production designer Stephen Carter being approached in December 2024 before a script, location, or cast had been decided. Armstrong began writing the script in January 2025, with the movie being fast-tracked for development by HBO. A number of locales were considered, including the tropics or a private island, before a Shining-esque mansion in the snow was decided upon. After scouting for suitable location in areas like British Columbia, Wyoming, and Colorado, principal photography took place in Park City, Utah, in March 2025. It is set almost entirely in a single location, a 21,000 square foot, 7-bedroom mansion that was between owners at the time of filming. Filming took place around 5 weeks, with other locations like the private jet scenes being shot on green screen sets. Some trivia notes. Jesse Armstrong began researching the topic of billionaire crypto-fascist tech bro culture after reviewing a book about Sam Bankman-Fried for the Times Literary Supplement in 2023. He began writing the script after Donald Trump won the United States presidential election in November 2024. The film was finished 6 months later. Armstrong says he did most of the hard writing over a 10-day period in London. Both Steve Carell and Jason Schwartzman noted that pre-production and production moved very fast, much faster than the average film. Carell was pitched the project before a finished script was available, and Jesse Armstrong was quick to remind him that it would be the first feature as a director. Both of them were extremely eager, however, to work with Armstrong because it was him, said Carell. I knew it was going to be great. Cory Michael Smith was a huge fan of Jesse Armstrong's previous project, Succession, saying that he thought the cast as the luckiest boys and girls in the world. He signed on despite having only a draft part of the first act of Mountainhead script available to him. The anecdote told by Venice about the film of a train scaring moviegoers who are used to seeing movies in reference to the arrival of the train, released in 1896, is a common myth about the film that is when first shown to audiences, many of the patrons believed that the real train was headed towards them and they panicked. This has since been found to be an embellishment for publicity purposes. Venice is therefore using a faked fact to bolster a false equivalency regarding his responsibility when it comes to fake news and artificial intelligence deepfakes being spread on social media platforms he owns. Now for me, Mountainhead tries too hard to be clever, but ultimately collapses under the weight of its own ambition. Clearly inspired by the razor-sharp writing and layered tension of Succession, this new series aims for intellectual depth but lands somewhere between tedious and self-important. The movie is overwhelmingly dialogue-heavy, yet most of the dialogue feels like it's trying too hard to sound profound. Unlike Succession, where every word felt like a dagger, Mountainhead often feels like a lecture, dense, slow, and oddly hollow. To its credit, the acting is solid across the board. The cast gives limp material more weight than it deserves, but even a strong performance can't save a story where nothing really happens. Steve Carell does his best with the material as Randall Garrett, an aging multi-billionaire who has cancer and is seen as the daddy of the group, where Cory Michael Smith really does dig into his role of Venus Parrish, the richest of the quartet. It's nice to see Cory Michael Smith getting a role like this and really showing off his acting chops. However, I find Ramy Youssef here as Jeffrey Abradazi incredibly annoying, speaking like he should be on a beach somewhere rather than a tech billionaire. And Jason Schwartzman plays the suck-up here of Hugo Super van Jolk. And albeit Schwartzman tries hard, the character really just sort of goes nowhere. In saying that though, the actors do try their best. It's just that I found the film directionless. There of course are moments of insight, a few pointed digs that land, and the film does speak to a wider context of where the world could be heading and the rise of these oligarch-type tech billionaires. But all those good insights are surrounded by so much aimless chatter that overall the impact is lost. Ultimately, Mountainhead feels like a movie with a lot to say, but not a compelling way to say it. Maybe it would have worked better as a television series where these characters could have been developed, and you could have maybe seen their backstory. That was one reason why Succession was so successful, as we got to understand who these people were and get an insight into their personalities and character traits. This movie here feels rushed, overly ambitious, and maybe Armstrong trying to be far too clever. Maybe Armstrong was just spread too thin, now also acting as director for this piece. And maybe his talents just lie in the writer's room rather than behind the camera. As a movie and as a follow-up to, of course, what was the brilliance of Succession, this, of course, is quite a letdown. Whereas Succession was a masterclass in tension and character building, this is just plainly boring, pointless, and really just sort of goes nowhere. While well-intentioned, Mountainhead is a film that I felt grossly let down by. With its solid good acting performances, making good points, yet wasted potential, this is a film that is more mountain than message. Mountainhead gets a 5 out of 10.